A lot of them going to the dressage.
All right, you are listening to a rebroadcast of Horse Sense, and we were hoping that everybody was all right with the Horse Sense folks. And Mark Shuffitt came in. I guess there was an accident out there on the highway, not involving Mark, so we're happy about that. How you doing, Mark?
Good. Yeah.
So you don't have the lead-in music that you're used to. The whole showbiz thing didn't happen for you today because it happened in the rebroadcast.
You're not hiding your guitar under the. You can't do a live one real quick.
I don't think you want to hear that.
No.
So how are you?
Good.
How did it go last week with everybody that went down on the bus to South Florida?
I wish that I had gone. They had a really good time. They stayed one night and on the bus crew. So they drove down on Friday. I think we talked to them just as they were leaving. About this time last Friday morning.
Right.
Drove down, and then they had a reception that evening, dinner, and after the bus ride, the turnaround to the dinner was pretty quick. So they were pretty active, pretty busy, and then races were Saturday, and I think they finished up around, last race was around 6 o'clock, something like that.
Okay.
And then they rode back home. So I did talk to some of them. They got home midnight, 1 o'clock, something like that. So they had a big time, and they said they played a lot of games on the bus, that Tammy had some trivia stuff set up for them. So they had a fun trip, a bunch of banner, horse information coming and going. I wish I would have gone.
Do they have another one scheduled that we can kind of help promote a little bit? Is it coming
We'll
up?
let you know when. This is the first time that they've gone on an overnight deal, and I think it's the second or third time that Florida Thoroughbred has taken a bus.
It sounds like
to
fun.
The track. I think it would. Yeah, I think it would be a lot of fun.
You know what occurred to me, Mark, is that for you and a lot of people in the horse world, it's agricultural.
Sure.
But for the rest of us, it's recreational because you've actually given us a spectator event.
Right.
Well, a number of spectator events that we can go to, whether it's a rodeo or a horse race or a horse show of some sort.
Right. Well, that's why we do it. On the backside, that's why we do it too. At the end of the day, it's fun. It's a job.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
But it's a different kind of agriculture because the ultimate end product is something recreational for the rest of us.
Right.
The product.
We're creating an entertainment venue, if you will.
And you know what? I don't know that I ever recognized it as that. I just didn't, and I'm probably not alone. I'm guessing a lot. What your show has done, I think the goal of your show is being realized. I hope. It seems like it is.
I hope so. We keep running into people that have, through one of our venues or another, whether it's the radio show or one of the programs that we do, or with Florida Thoroughbred being more out there about providing access to a track or a venue to a track. A lot of the people on the bus, I believe, were Florida Thoroughbred members, and then is also open to people that were non-members. And so if you can go on a bus ride and kind of have, it's like these bus tours. Dory's on everybody knows Dory. Dory's on our committee. And Dory likes to go on tours all over the place, she went to Ireland and different, but she'll go on these big tours. So that gives you an inside look at wherever you're going. We could go.
Oh, I know.
We could go anywhere. And so I think some of the things that we're doing, if we went somewhere, we might not know. Finish that thought. We can go anywhere. We may not know what to do when we get there. So if you participate in things like this bus ride, you can get a trip. You're kind of going to be walked through. Okay, here's where you go. Here's where you sit. This is what you do. This is what you're going to see. Now, hopefully that makes you comfortable that you'll continue to participate in those kind of things on your own.
Especially if you're hanging out with professionals.
Sure. And then you're going to get to see maybe some cool stuff, or, get introduced to some owners, trainers, jockeys, maybe the sports announcer. Maybe you get to see some behind-the-scenes stuff, too.
And it seems like in the same way, we can do a similar thing by just visiting a farm around here without taking any bus tour with anybody. We can just get in our car, visit it. And that, I guess that's the part where a lot of people are still questioning, how do I know which farms allow me to do that?
You can go out to Florida Thoroughbred Breeders and Owners Association. They have a directory. One, that's a good place to start. There's a museum. There's a museum out there.
Okay.
Two, they have a farm and service directory, and you can look in the farm and service directory, and the farms that are listed there will have information as to whether they allow on-farm visitors. And then I think the Florida Thoroughbred Breeders Office also has maybe a list. I don't think it's a whole separate list, but they can give you the names of farms which farms are open and receptive to have visitors. Excuse me. One of the best ways to see, if you don't know where to go, kind of what to see or what to do, one of the best ways to see what we've got farm-wise out in the county is to go on one of the tours. There are a few tour companies around, Karen Grimes is on our committee, and she has farm tours of Ocala.
Uh-huh.
So you can go on she's got a large van. It's not a bus, it's a large van. And so she goes around from different farms, from different breeds, and you get to go on the farms and see what
every
they're
day,
doing.
weekdays as well as weekends?
I think so. I think you just look her up.
Because we found her on a weekend, and I think she's been asking us if we'd come on a weekday one, and of course we do this, so we can. So.
There's another, I'm probably going to mess up the name, but I think it's Ocala Carriage Tours or something like that. Kimmy is the girl that runs that. But she's out on, in the Fellowship area. There's a farm out there that's called Kimberton, and they do hunter-jumper events and have hunter-jumper horses and training and dressage and that kind of stuff. But that's Kimber's place that's where her carriage tour takes off.
Right.
And so she's got the horse-drawn carriage. She also has those horses. You've probably seen them before downtown.
Oh, the ones the little evening rides.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
It's the same lady.
Real pretty
Yes.
carriages she's got.
Oh yeah, she's got beautiful carriages, and then she's also got carriages that can carry more than 3 or 4 people at a time. So she's got a carriage that if you had a group and wanted to go do a group tour, she can do that. And so she goes down the roads in the general vicinity of where they are in that Fellowship area and talks about the farms that you pass by, and you
that would be a cool idea to do.
Yeah. It's a nice shady area. Spanish moss in the trees, beautiful pastures and horses, and then Kimmy's real bubbly and energetic, and she's enlightening.
Has she been in here? Did you invite her in one of the shows?
Kimmy has. We'll bring her sometime. She's not been on a show that I have been on. I don't know if she was here one day when I wasn't here.
Okay.
But yeah, she's great. Does a really, really good job. I was downtown at one evening this week, and went to get something to eat after work, and just happened to be sitting there, and there was a couple sitting 2 or 3 people down from me, and you could hear them talking back and forth to the waitress. And anyway, they had been on a farm tour with Karen that day, and they were from like Fort Myers.
Okay. All right. Wow.
And said, this is like, well, what are you doing here? Well, we just, we're on the interstate a lot, and we drive through and pass through Ocala a lot. We've never spent much time in Ocala, so we thought that we would come and see what horse country was all about. So they spent like 2 nights here, and they're like, they were asking, well, what else is there to see and what else is there to do? And
wow,
we
that's
wanted
cool.
we wanted to see the horses, and we wanted to go to Ocala National Forest, and they went to Silver Springs, and so I thought, well, it's not what I expected.
And that's kind of
know?
cool that you overheard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be sitting there, and I'm like, oh, and then it started talking to them a little bit.
Yeah. And they gave them more information that they could use.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty neat.
Mark Shuffitt is here, and this is Horse Sense with the Equine Alliance of Marion County. We need to take a little break and get some sponsorships in there, plus the weather. We'll come right back. If you have a question for Mark, by the way, in the course of this next 12 minutes, give us a call, 622-9622.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Though our day began with areas of fog, we'll see a good deal of sunshine, and it'll be a very warm afternoon, the high 86 to 90. It'll be mainly clear tonight, low 66, and the coolest inland spot 72 along the coast. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 85 to 89. And on Sunday, plenty of sunshine, the high again 85 to 89. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Welcome to Infinite Natural Day Spa. We offer massage, facial, waxing, and hydrotherapy with body scrub. Infinite Natural Day Spa will bring you to an unparalleled all-natural experience of beautification, peace, and comfort that is uniquely yours. We hope to transport you to a place where you can truly appreciate a newly found state of relaxation.
Did you know that Marion County is known as the horse capital of the world? Did you know that Florida is one of the top thoroughbred horse markets in North America? Thoroughbred horses annually contribute $1 billion to the Sunshine State's economy and employ over 12,000 people, more than even baseball spring training. To learn more about the horse capital of the world or to join the membership of the FTBOA, the Florida Thoroughbred Breeders and Owners Association, please check out ftboa.com.
Insurance, payroll, taxes, workers' comp? How am I expected to keep up with this?
APB.
Very funny.
No, APB is American Payroll and Benefits with over 30 years experience. Count on APB to save real time and money on workers' comp and payroll costs, filing taxes, all that frustrating and time-consuming employee paperwork.
Thanks, tall, dark, and smart.
Call APB today at 352-624-1999.
All right, 10 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. You're listening to Horse Sense on WOCA. Mark Shuffitt is here, representing the Equine Alliance of Marion County. Flying solo today. This is the first for you. I don't think you've done this before.
Yeah, I don't know if I must have run them all off.
You're usually pretty quiet. You come in with the ladies, and you usually
Do
sit-
I have a choice? Now, I can't say a whole lot when they're here, but if I'm surrounded by these big, powerful women, and they start talking, I'm tough, but I'm not sure I can stop that train.
So how is it for you? You work with horses all day long, every day. I mean, and then when you do recreational things, is it different for you, or is it even better for somebody who's with it all the time because you would appreciate it more?
I'm not sure how to answer that. I think it's a way of life. I don't think we think of it in those.
It's not a
terms.
job.
It's not a job.
It's work, but it's not a job.
Right. There are different ways that people participate in the industry. Some folks will go to work with horses all day, and then they don't want to see a horse when they go home in the evening. There won't be a picture of a horse in their house.
Really?
There won't be a horse book. They don't really want to talk about a horse. Whatever. But I think most of the people that I know and have worked with, you may get up. It's not uncommon. So maybe you get up and you feed your horses at your house, and then you go to work, and maybe you work on a horse farm or a horse ranch, or work with horses during the day.
Right.
But it's like it's part of the routine. You get up and maybe you take care of your horses at your house, and then you go somewhere to go to work to earn a paycheck that has something to do with the horse. Yeah. Then when you get home, it's like, oh, okay, now I can pull my horses up out of the field, and I want to go do something with my horse that's it's not for a paycheck anymore. This is what I like to do.
Sure.
I want to ride. I want to train. I want to teach my horse something that he doesn't know, or I want to go show my horse now that he's learned whatever it was that he did, or maybe you go to a roping pen. There's a lot of jackpot ropings in the area that the people will go to in the evening. It's not really sanctioned, or it's just a pickup thing.
Right.
There's plenty of pens around that offer practice roping. So you're wanting to keep your skills sharp, wanting to keep your horse sharp.
Oh, really?
So
that's what you do?
Yeah. So on a Tuesday night or something, you may go over to somebody's house that's got a few steers and a pen, and so you rope.
Oh, wow.
But you've worked horses all day. So not that everybody that's roping is working with horses professionally, but in that roping pen there'll be farriers, the people that trim their feet. There'll be horse dentists. There'll be bankers. There'll be an insurance salesman. There'll be somebody that works at a car dealer's or mechanic or in construction, or they come from all walks of life. But there's a lot of people in that rope pen that are practicing that worked with horses or worked in agriculture that day, and then this is what we do for fun.
And do you ever have the accidental spectator? Like, for example, if Robert, if we go practice music at Silver Springs,
right,
we're really just having fun. We know people are going to stop. Same thing happened with horses? Like the person just happened to be visiting?
Yeah, maybe. Sometimes. A lot of these rope pens, maybe they're off the road, so they're not quite as visible.
Okay.
To drive by, but you'll get some people that'll
just happen to be there, and you're giving them a little show. Do you hate that, or do you like that?
No, it doesn't. Everybody's amenable to that. It doesn't bother anybody. I always thought that I think roping is personally, I think roping's fun, and I think roping's interesting. But for me to go sit and watch somebody rope a bunch of steers, or a bunch of guys rope a bunch of steers, I could care less.
Same thing with me. I don't want to go see a concert. I really hardly ever see a concert.
Now, it's fun. Now, if you're there practicing and if you're there roping, it's fun.
Right.
But to go watch team after team after team after team rope.
So let me ask you this. This kind of like sharing notes a little bit here. And if you have to get something in there, then just stop me. But I have a question. Okay. In entertainment, to just make radio part of a bigger picture, because it's kind of what I'm in.
Right.
There are just some people who look at it as a way to maybe become rich or famous or something like that, and you realize, okay, that's not the person who should be doing this. Some people get rich and famous from it, but you really have to have a passion for what you do here, whether it's radio or music or whatever.
Right.
Do you get the same type of like people not barking up the wrong tree kind of people who say, you know what, I want to get in horses. I want to get into this. It looks fun. I can get rich and famous and get a famous horse. And
I don't know. I think that probably is prevalent in anything. There's probably somebody that thinks that maybe they can buy their way. Maybe they've got enough money and they buy their way into, if I had enough money, I could go buy a radio station, right?
Yeah.
And I could have my own airtime, and I could talk all day long, or do whatever I want to do on airwaves. And just because I had the resources to go buy the radio station and put all that stuff in place doesn't mean that I have any talent for radio.
You're doing pretty good right now.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, but
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and I'm not fixing to buy a radio station. So transfer
but the same thing happens
that to a horse. Correct. If I had enough money, all the horses are for sale for some price. I mean, most animals like that are for sale for some price. So I can go find the fanciest kind of horse to do whatever, we think his job should be. And I could own him, and I could put him in my barn, and I could saddle him, but that doesn't mean that I know how to train him.
Right.
Doesn't mean that I know how to show him. Doesn't mean that I have any talent.
Mark, I would be more lost in your world than you would be in mine. I guarantee. I
don't know.
I
see a lot of gadgets over there. Let's trade chairs.
Yeah, but this I can't starve this accidentally. I like the people that you hear about that get arrested because their horses are starving. I mean I don't know.
They shouldn't be owning horses.
Right.
And they should be enough of a. They should be enough of a horseman or a horsewoman to know that those horses are in a declining state of health and do something about that prior to those horses having to be placed somewhere else or taken away. I don't get that. So sometimes there's
So this is
legitimate
part
excuses.
of you. I mean, you and everybody who
Sure.
I've met on the Horse Sense program
Yeah.
fits into that category. I mean, you all you live and breathe horses.
Right. It was. I mean, I think not everybody maybe has listened to the words of our intro and our bumper music and stuff, but it's in the blood. So I mean, it's not uncommon to go to someone house or farm or whatever after hours, and you watch TVG, which is the racing network.
See, I didn't even know that. What's that stand for?
Is it TVG or TG? Anyway,
And it's just all
on
horses?
satellite, it's
All
and you
horses
can-
all day?
and you can watch
Really?
standard breds, which are the trotters and pacers. You can watch the thoroughbreds race. You can watch the quarter horses race. So you can watch that stuff. And then I've got not just me. You've got horse magazines laying around the house. You're constantly trying to, like any other business, you want to keep up with whatever the newest technology or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
right,
We've got
right,
everything from tack and equipment to healthcare and for horses.
Yeah, right.
And the
right.
technology is always changing, and new technologies are emerging, and there's new ways to do things. And so, yeah, it's just a way of life. It's just in the blood of a lot of the people that do that. Hey, Horse Sense 3 is coming up Wednesday. We did Horse Sense 1 and 2 the last couple of years. It's going to be at ITW, which is out at Ocala Breeder Sales next to the racetrack. It'll be Wednesday from 5 to 7. It's part of our Connect with the horse industry. So we're trying to get businesses and horse industry connected with each other.
Okay. And the way we find out more is on your Facebook page?
Facebook page, Horse Sense Ocala.
Horse Sense Ocala on Facebook. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you,
I'm
Larry.
glad you're okay. I was worried about you earlier.
I'm good. I probably left a little bit too late. I'll leave earlier next time.
All right, we'll be right back. This is WOCA Ocala.
William Wu, U.S. boots on the ground in West Africa, which is struggling with its Ebola outbreak.
6 U.S. military planes and 100 Marines arrived in Liberia to help battle the outbreak. The U.S. military is working to build medical centers.
Fox Radio's Emily Wither. Malala Yousafzai, the Pakistani girl shot in the head for daring to stand up to the Taliban, and human rights activist Kailash Satyarthi of India sharing the Nobel Peace Prize. And security breaches at the White House has a House committee ready to give the Secret Service closer scrutiny in a hearing next month.
This is Republican committee member Jason Chaffetz claims the Obama administration knew a White House